Here's a fact most people don't know, a crucial insight into our well being. Burnout isn't caused by doing too little, it's not a sign of idleness or lack of effort. Instead, it's profoundly caused by our nervous system doing too much, being overstimulated and overworked for far too long, without adequate recovery or rest. This prolonged state of activation leads to a deep, systemic exhaustion that goes beyond simple tiredness. If you find yourself unable to focus, struggling to concentrate on even the simplest tasks, or if even small, routine activities feel utterly impossible to start or complete, and crucially, if rest, even extended periods of it, doesn't make you feel better or rejuvenated, this isn't laziness. This isn't a personal failing or a lack of motivation on your part. It's a clear signal from your body that something deeper is at play. What you are experiencing is your nervous system, the intricate control center of your body, actively shutting down. It's initiating this protective response to safeguard you from further harm, to prevent a complete collapse under sustained pressure. This shutdown is a biological imperative, a deep-seated mechanism designed for your survival when faced with overwhelming, chronic stress. Burnout is not a motivation problem. It's not an issue that can be solved by simply trying harder or pushing through. It is certainly not a character flaw, something inherent to your personality that makes you weak or incapable. Fundamentally, burnout is a biological response, a complex physiological adaptation to chronic stress that impacts every system in your body, from your cognitive function to your emotional regulation. Your nervous system, an incredibly sophisticated network of nerves and cells, has one primary and overarching job: to keep you alive. It constantly monitors your internal and external environment, making countless adjustments every second to ensure your survival and well-being. This fundamental role dictates many of its responses, especially when faced with perceived threats or prolonged challenges. When stress is short-term, like a sudden deadline or a brief challenging period, your body is remarkably resilient and can recover effectively. It activates, deals with the challenge, and then returns to a state of calm. However, when stress is constant, relentless, and pervasive, your system never gets the crucial signal that it's truly safe. It remains in a perpetual state of alert, unable to differentiate between a temporary threat and an ongoing, inescapable pressure, leading to profound dysregulation. At first, in response to this constant stress, your body stays in a heightened state of fight or flight. You feel alert, your senses are sharpened, and your muscles are tense, ready for action. You find yourself constantly pushing through, driven by an internal urgency, often ignoring your body's signals for rest and recovery. This phase is characterized by an almost manic energy, a relentless drive to overcome the perceived threat, even when it's an abstract one like work pressure. But when that intense, high alert state lasts too long, when the fight or flight response becomes the default mode of operation for weeks, months, or even years, your body can no longer sustain it. It reaches a critical point where it must do something different, something drastic, to preserve its remaining resources and prevent total collapse. This shift is a crucial turning point in the burnout process. At this critical juncture, your body doesn't just slow down, it fundamentally shuts down. This isn't a conscious choice, but an involuntary, physiological response. It's a deep, pervasive exhaustion that affects every aspect of your being, from your physical energy to your mental clarity and emotional capacity. This shutdown is your body's ultimate protective measure, a forced pause when all other attempts to cope have failed. This profound state is precisely what is known as a shutdown response. It's vital to understand that your system isn't giving up in defeat. Rather, it's engaging in a sophisticated, albeit uncomfortable, survival strategy. It's actively conserving energy, prioritizing essential bodily functions over non-essential ones, much like a computer entering a low-power mode when its battery is critically low. This conservation is a desperate attempt to maintain basic life processes. Because from your body's ancient, primal perspective, in this state of extreme depletion, rest is no longer an optional luxury or a reward for hard work. It transforms into an absolute necessity, a fundamental requirement for survival. Your body is signaling, in the most undeniable way possible, that without profound rest and a cessation of stress, its very ability to function is at risk. This is a biological imperative, not a personal preference. This is precisely why burnout manifests with such debilitating symptoms. It looks like persistent brain fog, a pervasive mental cloudiness that makes clear thinking and decision making incredibly difficult. It presents as emotional numbness, a profound detachment from feelings, both positive and negative, leaving you feeling hollow. And most notably, it results in extreme exhaustion, a bone deep weariness that no amount of sleep seems to alleviate, impacting every fiber of your being. And perhaps the worst, most insidious part of experiencing burnout is the tendency for people to blame themselves. They internalize the symptoms, believing they are personally failing, asking themselves, why can't I just try harder? Or what's wrong with me that I can't cope? This self-blame only compounds the suffering, adding a layer of guilt and shame to an already overwhelming biological condition. However, the crucial truth is that pushing harder, trying to force yourself through the exhaustion, or attempting to apply more discipline doesn't fix burnout. In fact, it actively makes it worse. This approach only exacerbates the underlying nervous system dysregulation, deepening the state of depletion and reinforcing the body's need to shut down even further. It's like trying to run a car on an empty tank by pressing the accelerator harder. This is because burnout doesn't need more discipline, more willpower, or more effort. What it fundamentally needs is safety. Your nervous system needs to receive clear, consistent signals that the threat has passed, that it is no longer in danger, and that it can finally relax and begin the process of repair. Creating this sense of safety is the cornerstone of true recovery, allowing your body to shift out of its protective shutdown mode. Recovery from burnout truly starts when your nervous system feels safe enough to gradually come back online. This isn't an instant flip of a switch, but a gentle, incremental process. It involves creating an environment, both internal and external, where your body can finally let down its guard, release the accumulated tension, and begin to trust that it is no longer under constant threat. This feeling of safety is the prerequisite for healing. One of the most immediate and powerful ways to signal safety to your nervous system starts with consciously slowing down your breath. Specifically, focusing on longer exhales tells your body, in a language it deeply understands, that we're not in danger. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch, counteracting the fight or flight response and initiating a calming cascade throughout your entire system. Additionally, engaging in gentle movement helps to release stored stress and tension that has accumulated in your body during prolonged periods of fight or flight. This doesn't mean intense workouts or strenuous exercise, which can actually be counterproductive when burned out. Instead, focus on simple, consistent motion like walking, stretching, or gentle yoga. These movements facilitate the natural release of stress hormones and promote a sense of ease without further taxing your system. Establishing predictable structure in your daily life also profoundly helps your system predict safety. When your body knows what to expect, it doesn't have to be constantly on alert. This means striving for the same sleep time each night and wake time each morning, consuming regular, nourishing meals at consistent intervals, and establishing other predictable rhythms throughout your day. This consistency provides a foundational sense of security, allowing your nervous system to relax its vigilance. Ultimately, healing burnout is not about bouncing back fast or returning to your previous pace immediately. It's a profound process of re-education, about teaching your body, through consistent signals of safety and rest, that it doesn't have to collapse into a shutdown response to finally get the rest it desperately needs. It's about breaking the cycle of chronic stress and forced shutdown and building a new foundation of sustainable well-being. Remember, you're not lazy. Your body is responding to overwhelming circumstances. You're not broken. Your body did exactly what it needed to survive a prolonged period of intense stress. It's a testament to its resilience, not a flaw. If this video helped you understand burnout better, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message of compassion and understanding. Your support helps us reach more people who are struggling.